Nice Minds, everybody. I am your host, Brandon McCollum, also known as B McC. Today, I am joined by a guest that I really don't know much about, but he's an interesting cat, and he's been very supportive. I went to Institute of Production and Recording with him. We had a couple classes together, but I mean, this will be really our first conversation face to face, because I mean, I think maybe we've said like a couple words here and there to each other, but other than that, yeah. So I know that you're a film dude, and I've seen some of your work. I've seen some of your like you're really energetic and stuff, and you do like some funny stuff. But what's your background with like the creative stuff? Like, where are you from? What's your background?
Well, first of all, Brandon, thank you for having me on the show.
Of
Appreciate it.
course.
I remember seeing you in the halls of IPR, so I just knew you were the other guy that had like a business. So, backstory about my life is how I started with film. It all started when I was in high school, early high school. I was inspired by a YouTube video. The YouTube video that I watched was from Niga Higa. He's the guy that created how to be a gangster, how to be a ninja. I like his type of content because it was comedic and it was also production value was high. And from there, I'm like, I wanted to do that kind of stuff too. So I was influenced by YouTube and creating like these sketches or these like skits as they call it. How that started was like back in 2011 where I made my first YouTube video called Me Entertainment Show intro of me just showing talking to the camera and just saying, yo, what's up you guys? Here's a brand new channel and subscribe all this good stuff. This is like early 2011. So when that happened, is like I bought my first camera from the savings I had. It was like a Cybershot Sony camera. It did video and photo. Then I upgraded to another camcorder. And from there, I just started making these videos, uploading stuff on YouTube. And eventually, I got an opportunity to go to the Arts Institute back in 2013 and actually be exposed to like filmmaking, like the editing, the production, and all that stuff. And I thought that was the school I was gonna go, but I didn't like how it was only like a 4 years of like education. I wanted something where like, can I just do something with like 2 years? Like, can I just get down there, like get to work? That's when I found IPR. I literally Googled like another film school and I found IPR. I went to take a tour there, and the moment I stepped in there, I'm like, yeah, this is the school. This is the school. So from there, I just been creating these videos where like there's sketches and all this stuff. And lately, the stuff that you've been watching, I created this series called "It's Monday Talk," where it talks about self development and motivation on Monday. Reason why I have it on Monday is because Monday is the first day of the week and it's the start of the day that will kind of make out the rest of the week. So I kind of started it from like the self development aspect because I got into like business side after college. So after IPL when I graduated, I got into like the insurance industry and I got exposed to like these other like-minded individuals about like finance, entrepreneurship, and thinking big. So that's kind of where it led to where it is right now, where I created this little like Monday show called It's Monday Talk about self development.
That's awesome. And you probably don't know this about me, but I actually have a very similar background to how I got into creativity. But I'm guessing I'm a little bit older than you. So if you got into like YouTube in like 2011, so how old are you then?
I'm right now I'm 23.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'm like
20.
12. I'm 12 years older than you then. So I actually started making sketch comedy when I was like 10, and I used my parents like back when we had like VHS cameras, like
Mm.
I used their camera, and actually like from the time I was 10 until I was probably like 16, we would make these sketch videos just using VHS tapes. And we filmed so many that I have a box like right by me of like 20 VHS tapes full. So there's probably like, I don't know, 40 plus hours of stuff that we filmed. And by the time that YouTube rolled around, because I think that was like '05,
Oh, 05. Yeah.
we had been done making those, and for whatever reason I feel like if I would have just kept doing it and kept going at the time, like I would have probably been one of the first like YouTube people to pop. Like I have no doubt that if I would have kept going with it and like just jumped on the bandwagon like right off the bat. So yeah, man, I am very similar in that. Like I'm very natural when it comes to like making up characters. I can just make up characters on the fly, and I'm very good with improv and stuff like that. So and that's what kind of interested me in talking to you about that, because I think that that's an amazing avenue that a lot of people that went to IPR didn't really go there, to pursue. So do you plan on doing more sketch comedy type stuff?
At the moment, I'm like more like focusing on the Monday thing, the Monday talks. I do eventually want to do that more, but on high production value on it,
Nice.
where like I have like some like a budget and create it with like within that budget to make something like better. Because right
Yep.
now, like that's the only thing I do, and I see that there's like a fan base that watches. So I'm like, okay, there are people watching, so let me stick with that. But eventually, the long haul, if we're talking about like my marathon sprint, marathon is having like my production company, creating
Right.
content, and like high production. My sprint is just rolling out my reel. I still have my reel that I need to release of like all the stuff I've done in the past like 5 years in like filmmaking. I never had a solid reel where it like showcases my stuff,
Yeah.
but this is coming out like beginning of 2021. We're like, yo, here's what I've done. Let's work, let's collab. We can make something and rolling it out like that. So eventually, yeah, I do want to kind of make those sketches and build like the kind of identity of like me, just being comedic and like just have the production value of like the sketches.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, because I definitely would like to get back into that as well, because but I don't really know a lot of people that do it. Like I mean, I have friends that I've done stuff with through Nice Guy Entertainment. Like I don't know if I've shown you any of my sketch comedy stuff, or if you've run
I think
into
I've
it.
seen some of them,
Yeah,
like just a
so
little bit.
when I started Nice Guy Entertainment, it was a record label, but at the same time, I try to bring my acting stuff into it, and
Mm,
I try to have these little characters and stuff, and I think that persona really helped out when I was starting my brand. And I didn't really realize it until this conversation, when I thought about it. I was like, wow, that all that work that I did when I was younger kind of prepared me for what I do now. Kind of gave me that personality, that you know I guess energy
mm.
to put it into all these different things that I've been doing. So yeah, that's really cool, man. So with your what kind of experience do you have? I mean, have you worked on any films?
I have. So, my first film ever that I did on set was with Andy. One of my instructors from school, his name is Andrew Hunt. He actually kind of like worked with like Steven Spielberg on the show called On the Lot. He teaches at IPR, and I'm blessed to have him as an instructor because everything I know about filmmaking is because of that man.
Nice.
So I kind of uh, pay homage to him or like give him credits due. But he's the one that brought me into his first set, um, into like me just being a monitor assistant. My first time experiencing like everything I see in Hollywood, where like the camera guy, the actors, the sound design, everything, sound guy, and me and my role was just to hold a monitor. I just wanted
Right.
to be in that moment. He was filming a movie, a short film called Personal Space. He was gonna submit it to Z Fest Film Festival, which is a local film festival in the Twin Cities. That year, we finished the film and we watched it in theaters, and then they had an award ceremony, and then that award ceremony, that movie won the whole thing.
That's
It
awesome.
won the whole festival, and like I got to walk on stage with him, with everybody else. I'm like, I'm just the monitor guy, but like, go, it won. So I'm like, I'm proud. And then I'm like, okay, this guy is really good, so I got to continue my education. I I've been on other sets where like music videos. Um, One of my boys from college, his name is Isaiah. He did a music
Oh
video
yeah,
with like this
I know
other
Isaiah.
artist
Yep.
with Lindsay Boyd.
Yep.
She went to IPR too.
Yep.
So that was my experience with like just a music video
Oh
setting.
yeah, you did
And
that song. Yeah, you did that
yeah,
music video. Yeah.
I think Surrender.
Yep, Surrender. That was badass. I love that song
Vampire.
too. Yep,
Even yeah, so
it's
that
so
was a good.
good.
That I'm like I was surprised that yo he. I think it was shot beautiful. You know, I thought it was a really
It was really well
good shoot.
done. I
I
agree.
helped with a lot of the student films just being exposed, but my one thing I really did was towards the end of my like almost towards graduation around March of 2017. I got hired by Andy to be a camera operator or a videographer for the Indian motorcycle rally that happens every year in St. Paul. And
Oh
right
yeah.
there, celebrities show up. And one of the celebrities that showed up to be in the rally was Danny Trejo and these two other actors from the Sons of Anarchy. So I got the opportunity to actually speak with Danny Trejo, like Machete, but
Wow. Yep.
also interview him. So I actually I got asked, "Hey, yo, do you want to interview Danny Trejo?" I'm like, "Heck yeah, heck, yo!" And we're both Hispanic, so it was
Right.
kind of wanting like we're like, "Yo, it's another Hispanic guy here," and like um trying to like interview. It was great. So I got to interview him, ask him questions, and also like take a picture. But he's like a really gentle guy. He's like a really sweet dude.
I bet. Yeah.
But that's one thing. But through that, it's like I just was being out there. And if anybody say you need help with the film, I'm there. I'll help you out. And I just want to be in the moment. Other short films Andy made, but I just want to be in that moment of just being on set. So I've done like multiple things like on set.
That's amazing. And yeah, I think a lot of people they try to jump from like 0 to 100 real quick, but I like that, you wanted to, help out like with whatever, because that's what people got to realize getting into the creative field is you got to pay your dues. You got to start,
Mm-hmm.
at the bottom basically, and you got to be willing to do whatever, whatever like the production says, like you do it. So, yeah, man. I
It kind of yeah, it kind of went great because when it was my turn to make my short film, my thesis project,
Yep.
half of the class were willing to help me out because
Right.
of how I helped so many of them. Just it's just being my generosity, just
Yep.
helping them out, and like just want to be there. By the time when it was my turn, is like I didn't even have to ask them; they actually wanted to come and help me.
Yep.
So it's kind of like a win-win, where like um, just being passionate about it, just being just a generous guy, or just being out there. In return, I got like half the people to come and like be on set. So that was back in 2016 when I made my first short film. That one premiered at the EDU Film Festival. That Trey Woodley, one of um,
Yep. Trey.
the advisors, yeah, Trey, he
Hmm.
did the. He has that. It was for like high schoolers, but he showcased the students one. So that was pretty great. That got to be the again.
That's awesome. Yeah, man. I mean, that's one thing that you brought up that I try to practice in my life as well is just be as helpful as possible. And good karma, you get it back. You give, give and give and give, and you're bound to get it back for sure. So that's amazing, man. I think you mentioned it at the beginning, but where are you from originally?
I'm original. Oh yeah, forgot to mention that. I'm
Yeah, I don't know
from
if you did.
Worthington. I'm from a small town called Worthington, Minnesota, which is southwest Minnesota, which
Oh,
is a
okay.
3 hour drive. So to put in perspective, here is South Dakota. Here's Sioux Falls, South Dakota,
Hmm.
Iowa. I'm right here. It's that corner of Minnesota. So that's where I'm from. It's like a population of 12,000 people. There's not a lot of filmmakers there. Our school had like a little newsroom called like Trojan News, where like it's close to like video production, but it wasn't high end. Where like you can actually make a career out of it. Uh, that's kind of like one of my big things I wanted to do is like I wanted to like get out of this hometown and actually
Yeah.
go somewhere and also be close to family. I took it like kind of like not go to LA, but also be close to family. So
Yep.
what's the closest to like an LA vibe is Minneapolis. It's the nearest city. So I took Minneapolis as my LA. When I'm there to work. I'm there to learn. I'm there to like learn as much as I can so I can bring it back home or I could take it anywhere. That's how I took it as a mission. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna do my 2 years, build connections. At the same time, make mistakes along the way because I made a bunch just like learning the curve of like this
Oh yeah.
creative industry that we call it, where like some of the stuff you're not gonna get paid, but like you say, you gotta pay your dues. It's just getting in there and like getting dirty and just being there and like keep learning.
Yep. Keep learning and stay positive. Yeah, man. I've had more failures than I can count, man. More, so many different things that I worked on that just led to nothing. But I don't think any experience is bad experience, man. No failure is really failure because you learn stuff. You gain experience, you gain knowledge. When you're working with other people, those you build friendships and connections and stuff like that. So it sounds like you really did that, and I do feel like what you were saying, like Minneapolis and LA, like Minneapolis is so underrated. It's so slept on as a city. I mean, there's so, and that's why I want to do this podcast because there's so many creatives here. I mean, there's so many amazing people. I mean, you walk into IPR and it's like another world basically. I mean, we're like
Hmm.
it's like a community within itself when you walk into that. And I miss that camaraderie. I miss that collaboration, so getting to talk to people like you, doing this is a real privilege to me. So I really appreciate you being on here and doing this.
Yeah, and the fact that you're still doing this, like I know life goes on, but only a few people are still like have that flame in a way in their gut where like I want to become someone or I
Yep.
want to like build something, but it's not there yet, but I'm still going at it. Not to say that people are like people are living their life, they're getting comfortable, but only a few people have like that stamina to just keep going and actually kind of make it through,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if I'm just crazy or what. I mean, I built a name for myself like a little bit, but at 35, I've never really found true success yet. But something in me just keeps me going. I keep trying and I keep, I'll fail at one thing, but I'll like pivot a little bit and I'll try this. So,
Mm.
like Nice Entertainment was a record label up until recently. So I wasn't really getting the same sort of enjoyment and fulfillment that I once was with it. And it just was, I felt like my vision for it was kind of going by the wayside. So I had to make the tough decision, and I had like 8 to 10 people still involved, and I had to call them all one by one and say, yo, this is what I need to change direction. I need to make Nice Entertainment my personal brand. And so yeah, I'm in a real turning point right now, but something in me is not allowing me to give up, you know and I think that you have to have that in this industry. Like you have to have that sort of willpower, to pivot and to change and to adapt.
It's kind of like seeing like you know how one celebrity I do admire is like Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Yep.
How he's like one of the top people like in the game, but people don't know like where his come up is. Like there are gonna be people who are in the industry. They're fine. They're in there, but there's the ones that are like they're unstoppable. It's like the Jordans in the industry, or
Yep.
the 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 rocks in the industry. It's like those type of people. Like I think are the crazy ones, but it's like
Yep.
slowly. It's like there's a lot to do. There's like a lot to like focus on, like development wise, mental wise, to get to like
Yeah.
that kind of level. And
Yeah.
how I see it is like what I've learned in this like this year is like not to rush it.
Yep.
Even though I when I don't like when you don't feel accomplished to like one goal, I've learned to like reflect on it and like step back and like what am I slowing, what am I doing that's like slowing me down, or like or something different direction. It could just be personal wise, business wise, or like something where like it's in there, but like it needs to keep going. I always say if you're living always say if you're living a life where like yeah, you have your kids, you have your kids and all that stuff. Don't forget the dream that you had
Yep.
originally. Yeah, these things come in life. These things come in life where like oh, I have a family now, but you still have that dream though. Where's
Yep.
that fire? Like do it for your kids or for them instead of having them as excuse. That's how I look at it. We're like life goes on, but how bad do you want to continue doing this?
Right. Yeah, and I mean, for me, like I invested my whole life into my dream. Like I literally everything financially, socially, whatever. Like this is what I do. Like I am a creative. I create content. I produce music. I help other artists and creatives do the same. And that's just who I am, and that's who I always will be. So I can't see giving that up for really anything. And I have to kind of, periodically I have to kind of make these adjustments. But I feel like with 2020, I've really, like you said, like got to really look at everything in perspective. And before, I would kind of beat myself up, like when I was 33, I was like, I'm 33, like I haven't made it yet. Like I'm 34, like I should just, everybody's quit by now, or like everybody my
Hmm.
age like has kids and like a normal job and all that stuff. Like, I mean, maybe I should just give it up. And this year I really just learned patience. Like patience is key to anything. You have to have patience, and you have to learn when to forgive your mistakes and to not beat yourself up over it, to not, belittle yourself and think that like all that you did and all that you tried was worthless, because it was definitely for a reason, and it definitely led you to, you know different things, like different friendships, like I said, different opportunities, different experiences, and it's all just a learning experience. And yeah, this year I really just had to learn self-love and really to
Yeah.
appreciate myself. And so with your Monday stuff, I haven't really watched that. So like you said, like it's like I think I watched one of them, but it's like Monday motivation, like to kind of
Hmm.
get you fired up for the week.
Yeah.
Nice.
So the whole concept was, at that time I was reading these self development books, all these books that help with with the mind mentally, with discipline and like different ways, different mindsets for different tasks. So I originally started on Snapchat, where like most of my people that watch my stories, that I get the most view count on Snapchat. So I started making them on Snap, like holding up, and since I'm a video guy, I like to edit them, just like add something. I got some good feedback. So the beginning of 2019 is when I started making them on Snapchat, and then later I noticed how like you can only watch it for 24 hours. Let me try and make them into like actual videos and post them on social media. At the time when I started making it, I read books. I've been reading. I was in an environment of entrepreneurs that were thinking the same. That I want to share this knowledge because it's new knowledge that I've heard.
Yeah.
So I wanted to share it. And it's also a different way of like thinking, especially for the people that want to build businesses and like are entrepreneur minded. I see myself as like expressing or showing that simple, sharing positivity, because I see a lot of people that are unhappy and they're like negative on themselves, but they don't know why.
Yep.
And I hope every time I make a video is like I express some value and like they get like at least a nugget, like, oh, I never thought it that way. Oh, that's pretty awesome. And with that, at the same time, I need to keep learning myself.
Yep.
Where like when once I run out of content, like, oh shoot, I'm now learning, and I gotta follow through I gotta follow through for the people that are watching me,
Yep.
because I'm trying to stay two
Yep.
steps ahead of like the other people, so they can like um watch what they don't know. So when that happened, I started putting back on YouTube when I just made it like Monday, and I during the way I'm not perfect. Some of the videos I procrastinate them because it's like last minute I think about what topic to talk about. During the
Hmm.
whole week, I'm like, what topic should I talk about? What is relevant? I'm like, oh, this one. And it takes me hours. I did it
Oh yeah.
overnight. I did an all nighter where like I just recorded that same day and filmed it, edited it, and I didn't sleep. It was 5 a.m. I need to have it uploaded by like 9 something because I said I was gonna put it at 9. So from there, it's like at the same time, I gotta keep developing myself, keep like feeding the mind, and keep practicing what I preach for per se. Um, but the whole thing is like staying positive is like I see it as like more like when you think about positivity is like a chemical release in your body
Yep.
where like it's just a simple mindset switch can like change it. And it's something where like if you like experience like some trauma in the past or experience kind of like some self-doubt, just a simple mindset switch to your loving yourself, that's all you need.
Yep.
Like not relying on nobody, it's just you. And then people will see it. They'll see that, oh shoot, that positive energy that you're spreading.
Yep. That's so important, man. That's so valuable too. I mean, because for me personally, I always suffered from depression and anxiety,
Hmm.
and that was a lot of like what held me back. And I've been through the last couple years have been pretty traumatic for me. Like my mom had cancer, and
Yeah, I saw that.
then I had a bunch of, things happen last year. So I coming out of the last couple of years into 2020, I had to deal with a lot of trauma that I'm still dealing with, but I feel like I am handling it a lot better because I'm much more careful with what I feed my mind. You know, like I watch a lot of like Gary V. That's been my dude like all year. I don't know if
I
have
was
you.
about to mention if you watch Gary Vee.
Yep. Yep,
I love
constantly,
Gary Vee.
every day, like
Yeah.
every day. So like I'll go to work, I'll sit down from to eat lunch and I'll just watch a Gary Vee video like every single day. And I think it's really important to feed your mind and with positivity and with people like that you know preach self-love and talk about patience and talk
Hmm.
about persistence and all the positive things that you should do, and instead of just like mindlessly scrolling social media and stuff like that. I mean, just
Hmm.
try to kind of shift gears towards something that's gonna help you. And that's what I've tried to do this year, and it's really
Yeah.
paid off. So
Have
I
you
think we
have you
oh, sorry, what were you gonna say?
no finish your sentence. Yeah.
Oh no, I was just gonna say we need more people like you that are
Yeah.
doing stuff like that.
Have you heard of the phrase finding your like fighting your demons?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that phrase I look at it as a phrase where like we our conscience is talking to us like I think our conscience is the negative,
Yep.
whereas like, oh, you shouldn't do that. Yeah, I think you should do that. It could be like a simple thing of like lack of discipline. Like for example, it
Yep.
could be a meal. Be like, you're not supposed to eat that burger, but you're hungry though. It's that guy you're trying to fight with.
Right.
And what you said about feeding your mind, you're feeding the positivity for that subconscious mind because he's already negative. That's how we got depressed and stressed in the first place because we're like paying attention on that negative guy. This like the whole thing. What you feed your mind and the mindset you get into, I think that's how you get out. But also it's like with the experience that you encounter throughout the way, like what you said about your mom, like about having cancer. That's your story.
Right.
That story could be like that traumatic event could be somebody else's like therapy book where
Yep.
like you went through it, you own it. So when it comes time to like someone needs like an influence, they have you or this
Right.
podcast that you have right now, where like that's how. Oh, also another thing, like creating your own identity. That's how it's built, and that's how it
Yep.
slowly. That's what I've learned this year, like creating your own identity about your story, owning up to like who you are, how well you were built.
Right.
Yeah, Gary Vee is one of those guys that like
Yep.
actually inspired Money Talk too. How the way I edit
Oh
them like
yeah.
in social media. Yeah, I got it from his like content. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, I figured because I mean, with the way that you were talking and like kind of the way you were structuring it, I'm like, I bet Gary Vee. Like, I bet you follow
Hmm.
his stuff. But yeah, man, and that's something that I had to really kind of take into consideration this year too. It's like, why do I do this? And I'm like, yeah, I do this for myself, but at the same time, I I do it for other people. Like I didn't realize that how much I do influence people until this past year. I mean, just for example, um you probably see me post about it, but my buddy V Washington started a lemonade brand called Vanless Lemonade.
Yep. I saw that.
And I wasn't even really thinking much of it, and I was like, oh, I really like his lemonade. I just want to do this little review and talk about it a little bit. And I ended up helping him sell to multiple people. And just that right there, I was like, wow, even with this small influence, I was able to help my buddy who just quit his job to pursue his dream.
Mhm.
I was able to help him in that. And I've been able to do that in the music realm, more times than I can count. And I had to really think about that. And I was like, I've had my hand in so many people's careers and, put people on countless shows and put out all these albums and did all these things. That's not for nothing. That's not something that um I should ever get down about. I should never put myself down because of all the work that I have done, all of the positive connections that I have made with people, and all of the positivity that I have spread. And that I think has really helped me this year and has helped
Mhm.
kind of feed my positive thoughts and helped it multiply and all that stuff. So yeah, I really do think that like what you're saying is true, man.
I think our time is coming.
Yeah.
We're like, I think this whole. I'm a big believer in God. Where like he, we want this thing so bad, but I think he's not ready for us to give it. I think
Yep.
he wants us to keep taking our, keep like getting dirty until that time is right. Like right now, it's how many episodes do you have on this podcast?
I mean, I've only put out the intro, but I have been recording a lot. So I've already done like 10.
I feel
So,
like it's a like an inventory is like not yet, but it'll be there. It's just like yeah, like that patience that you said, having patience, like
yep.
because I feel the same way too. Where like I've been putting this work. When is my time gonna come? Why am I not making money? Why am I keep doing this?
Yep.
And I feel like it's like I'm not ready. My time isn't up.
Yep.
My time isn't here yet, and I won't know. Like you say you're 32. I'm 23. We're like
35, but yeah.
35.
Yeah.
See, I just complimented you if you're young.
I appreciate that. Yeah, people say I look like I'm like 26, so I appreciate
30.
that.
You got the 36 spirit, the
Yep.
early 20 spirit. So
Yep.
yeah,
I appreciate that.
I looked at it like our time is not there yet.
Yep.
But what I've been told my whole life, or from like even from these big like entrepreneurs, the number one thing I keep hearing is like, don't quit.
Yep.
And it sounds cliche, but I'm like, if you think about it, only you or anyone else they know like it's like a spark. It's like it won't. It's a fire that won't leave. It's like it'll happen one day. You're optimistic about it, but one day it's like please have the support. But I feel that I think our time is not there yet, but it will be. And I just been here. Don't give up. So like I won't do that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I really I admire people who have faith. I'm agnostic, so I don't but I'm not an atheist, so like I believe in a higher power, but I don't know
Mhm.
what that higher power is. So but I really admire people who do have faith and who do believe in God and stuff like that. Well, it's only been brought up one other time on this podcast, but I do really appreciate people that have faith and use it in a good way, in a positive way, and connect it to positive things that they say, and motivational things that they say. So I really appreciate you sharing that with me. That's a big deal, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Definitely.
That's how Monday Talk started too. But just simple like just spreading the positivity
Yep.
in general. Like I don't know what you're going through. It could just be something where it's just like a switch of like
Right.
bright sunshine.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy, man, and especially like when you put things out in the universe too, and then you just kind of chill and you like wait for it to happen. I mean, just an example, and this is crazy, and I don't, like I said, like I don't know what I believe in when it comes to God and stuff like that, but I do notice these really weird coincidences that happen. So like I said, my buddy V Washington started this lemonade brand, and he gave me a case, and I had the last one that he gave me out during dinner. And as I finished dinner, I checked my phone and I got a message from the Vanless Lemonade account as I had Vanless Lemonade right in front of me
Mm.
saying, "Hey bro, I have these speaker stands. Do you want them?" And I had just got new speakers. Like
Mm.
what? Like how do you like what? Like as I'm like drinking his lemonade, he messages me about something that I was already thinking about, like that I needed speaker stands. Like, I mean, stuff like that is just it's is weird. And
Yeah.
it's too like I'm not saying it's like God or anything like that, but I do believe that in like the universe and like putting things out there and like, you know,
Or the phrase
receiving.
"ask and you should receive."
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really interesting, and I don't know what I specifically believe about that stuff, but I love hearing other people talk about it, and I love having conversations about it because I just like learning about it, and I like learning
Mhm.
what other people believe and stuff like that. I do think that the universe works in mysterious ways. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's really
I'm
crazy.
just
And
trying to find happiness.
yep, yep, same man. And I
That's the long term thing where like
yeah, and I do feel like I
everyone like,
oh, sorry. I think we're getting like a delay with our internet connection. What were you gonna say?
oh, I said I just know I want to find happiness, long term happiness, where like set the example with my parents where I seen like people in my like Hispanic community where they just work, they pay the bill, they live in the moment, which is great. But like it's like they don't believe in themselves so they can achieve like bigger goals.
Yep.
Where like I want the long term thing where I'm like grateful. Like even though like living in the moment is great, like and cherish those moments, but also have like a future optimistic things about like the thing, like not forgetting like one struggle I had is like living in my past because those are the precious moments or
Yep.
memories I like to that I remember and I get depressed because I'm thinking about the past because it was a precious memory. I've learned to like just let it go. Let's create a new memory. Let's
Yep.
create something new. That's by creating you create new memories and that now you look at something to look for like to look back on nostalgia moment, but you're always creating.
Yeah, that's a really, really good way to look at it. And I think that's a similar thing that I've had to look at as well. I'm a very nostalgic person and nostalgic with everything. I mean, for the longest time I was mad at my parents for moving me to Minnesota because we're from California. And I I was always so nostalgic for California. But now every time I go back to California, it's just it's a blessing and it's a fun vacation now, and I don't really look at it like I'm bummed for not living there anymore because
Hmm.
it's a memory for me, and it's a memory that I cherish. But I don't really look at memories like, oh, I want to be back there. Like, you know, like you said, like it's just, you know, it's a memory, and now we can move forward and we can make more memories. And now I have great memories of, you know, bringing my girlfriend to California before the pandemic hit. And, you know, she had never seen the ocean, and getting to experience that with her.
Hmm.
And, you know, if I wouldn't have never moved, we wouldn't have that experience. You know, we would have never, like, I would have never met her. I would have never had that awesome experience. So yeah, it's great to like have those nostalgic moments, but at the same time, it's good to not live in the past. You know,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
No, I 100% agree with you. That's the one thing I struggle with, and that's why we stay in that negative state of mind because we're just reminiscing into these moments that we can't change.
Right.
We can't change those moments. I understand why we're in that state because we want to feel that nostalgic of, oh, I remember when that. I had the other moment when I first moved into Minneapolis. When I worked at IPR, no, when I was at IPR, I was doing a pizza delivery job. To be honest, that was my favorite job. When
Oh yeah, I
I
bet.
was delivering pizza, I'm like, I
Yep.
was just reminiscing the time, like, that was a good time. Just
Yep.
like, and then I think about what I'm now, I'm like, dang it. But you know what? Like, that was a good time. That's experience and knowledge that I can now carry to make this new thing. So I look at it as like this is my experience, this is my knowledge. Let me just thank you for the experience, like the memory, but let's keep going.
Yep.
Because I got stuck in that, I don't know what they call it, like the past. I don't know, maybe I'm making it up, but like I just got stuck living in the past where like
Right.
it's not helping me move forward. And I had
Yep.
to like learn to like just let it go.
Yep.
And I think that's hard for everyone, but like let it go, create new things.
100%. Yeah, especially with Nice Guy Entertainment. I'll bring that up again. I always reminisce about 2015. 2015 was a magic year for Nice Guy Entertainment. It was like we started really forming when I got to IPR in 2014, and then it really came together in late 2014. And then in 2015, like things just started happening. Like they started taking off. Like I was
Mhm.
doing all these shows. Like our first
I
show,
remember those. I
our
remember those.
yeah. Did you come to any?
I went to one, but
Oh,
I
okay.
remember the energy of like, holy shoot, he actually made like a show. It was like the Nice Guys brand. Like Chad was there. Chad Atkins.
Oh yeah, Chad. Yep.
Yeah, he was performing there, and like I remember you just throw these shows, and like Chad is a really good guy too, super
Oh yeah,
talented. Oh,
for
I
sure.
call him the Minnesota Porter Robinson because he has the same
He is.
music
Yep.
style as his.
Yep.
Yeah, the Minnesota Porter Robinson.
Yep. For real. Well, actually, the Nebraskan Porter Robinson, because that's where he's from.
Oh yeah, the
From
Nebraska Porter
Nebraska.
Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, for real.
Mhm.
But yeah, man. So in 2015, like that really started kind of taking shape for me, and I had this crew of just amazing artists and like talented, just like artists that were all putting out like album after album, doing show after show after show. And then 2016, like it kind of fell apart a little bit. Um, and so I was always like, oh, man, if I could just get back to 2015. And like 2017 it started coming together a little bit, and 2017 was a really good year. But then 2018 my mom had cancer, and it was always like, oh, if I could just get 2015 and 2017 back and like get that sort of vibe, and be doing all these shows and doing well again and doing all this stuff. And I just kind of had to look at it like yeah, those are great times, but it's not over for me. Like I'm still going. I'm still here. I still have chances to make new memories, to make to make new things happen. Whether it be virtually or not, or in person. But yeah, I think that people often live in the past and think that, oh, it's all over for me, and that that's the
Mhm.
best it's ever gonna be. But that's not true. I do think that the best days are yet to come for me and what I do. You
We're
know.
still living. We're still breathing. That's
Yep.
I have to. This is the self-talk, the daily affirmation I talk to myself
Yep.
every day to like continue like being positive because most of the
Yep.
time I can be super negative. It can get really dark
Same.
sometimes.
Same.
And like since I'm really positive or like since I'm really positive, it's hard to talk negative within myself and share that. So like I had
Yep.
to like find my own demon where like, you know what, like nobody like I, I learned like nobody cares. This is just your own mind talking to
Right.
yourself, and like
Exactly.
and like it's your own mind, and like just keep doing you. Where
Yep.
keep focusing on developing who you are. Like keep focusing on Brandon, because then that new version of Brandon is gonna expand onto everything. I got to keep focusing on Jorge, because a new Jorge is gonna keep it's gonna show to people. But I gotta keep feeding me. That's not even a selfish thing either.
No, it's
It's
not.
not selfish at all.
Yep.
It's literally self-love.
Yep.
It's the self-love. It's like you have a girlfriend. I just had a girlfriend too. It's like when I'm happy with myself. If she's happy, we share our same happiness. We're like ultimate happy. That's how I
Right.
look at it.
Yep.
When I'm super
Same.
happy and she's super happy, we share our happiness. It's like, oh, awesome. And then when we share our happiness, we create that little duo. We're like, who is um Jorge, girlfriend and boyfriend? Who are they? What's their identity? Because I already know who my identity is. I know who I am. You know who are as a couple.
Yep.
That's why I started learning. So like it's literally at the end of the day, you die by yourself.
Right.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you're gonna be at your tombstones like you and yourself, your eye, love
Yep.
yourself more. It's not selfish. But like when you share like that high spirit, people want to be that too because we live in our own bodies, man. Like we just gotta keep
Exactly.
loving ourselves. Yeah.
And I had to really realize that this year too, and especially with my brand. I mean, my brand is called Nice Guy Entertainment. And anytime that I get negative and anytime that I would like, either project that by I don't often complain on Facebook anymore, but like anytime that I would, post something negative and stuff like that, I'm like, what am I, displaying right now? Like that's the opposite of like what my brand is. It's the opposite of Nice Guy Entertainment. Like Nice Guy Entertainment is should inspire people to do good, should inspire people to be nice, should inspire self-love and self-care and all of that sort of thing. So yeah, I really think it's important for people like us to really take that seriously and to create content that helps people and adds value to people's
Yeah.
lives.
At the same time, we're not perfect either.
Right.
Like negative, yeah, being negative is natural.
Yeah.
It's a natural human thing, but you get to choose
Right.
which you want to be, negative or positive. That's what I learned too. When you could choose if you want to be negative or positive. That's why on Mondays, that's why I created on a Monday where like you get to choose. Like you could get to choose to let the day run. You can either choose to kill the day or let the day like ruin you. That's your choice. Like,
Right. Yeah, that's exactly
but
right,
yeah, it's
man.
like yeah,
Oh, I lost you for a sec.
get goosebumps.
Oh yeah, man. Gary Vee's always talking about that too. Have you seen him talk about that?
Dude, yeah, yeah.
'Cause, yeah, Gary Vee's like, look, I got goosebumps, and he always holds up his hand, like
Yeah,
his arm, like that. He's
now
like,
I kind of get it now because it's a spiritual thing where like you talk about it and like it slowly starts coming in your life and like the biggest one I've learned in 2019 biggest one I've learned was gratitude. Everything I
gratitude is
have
super
right now,
important.
I like step back and like what I'm grateful. Like I'm grateful for the education I had. I'm grateful.
Yep.
You know what? I have a car. Like even the simple things. And I
Yep.
slowly started seeing my spirit like elevate. Where like life is not that bad.
Yeah.
It is not that bad. We're all going through the struggle together.
Yep.
Let's just keep fighting.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, and you just got to put that positive energy out there, man. And
And
I'm
stay
really
hydrated too.
yeah, stay hydrated. No, but I'm really glad that I invited you on because you're somebody that I like I said, I didn't know much about you, and we never really like had a deep conversation face to face before, but I did always notice that you would engage with my posts, like that you were a name that just like kept popping up like in my likes and stuff like that, and I was always very curious about you just in general. But now I'm trying to take the chance to, like when you said like, oh, I would love to be on the podcast. I'd be like, oh yeah, man. Like I'm really trying to take the time to give people a chance and to talk to more people, and especially people who like you who have supported what I've done but I've never really like talked to before. So I really appreciate that, man.
Hmm. I learned
And
that too in the early stages. Like people just need support. They just need someone, that one person believe in them to keep going.
yeah.
I noticed that too. When like that one, I had one. I recently had a fan, a follower from my Monday talks. He actually called me out, but this whole time he's been watching, and I'm like, hey, I'm actually influencing people. He's been watching this whole time. He's been watching my content on my social media, and I know him personally. And it's just like one of those. It could be just 3 or 4 people that say, "Hey, I believe in you." Michael Jordan once said, "He's like, there was a game. I think like, I don't know if it's the 1995 like last game where like he lost a championship or something. He had it. He had it in the spirit where like I have an obligation to give it my all. People come to see a show. They come to see me play. I gotta come through. I learned that from The Last Dance, the documentary
Oh
from
yeah.
Michael Jordan.
Yep.
That and like just his mindset, I kind of relate to like how these like it could be just 3 or 4 people that, like I have an obligation to like come through. Like this is why crazy because I'm actually like crazy guy that actually has potential in doing it, and these guys are actually following me and want me to see it through. My parents, my siblings, and this is where I'm like, I just gotta stop. I just gotta put that negative energy down. Like, let's get to work. You fucking got this, and just be like positive. Like, you got this. Strategize this. Let's go. You become a whole different person, like a whole different persona. Where like, you know what? It's started work.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
and that's right. Like I support local businesses where like it can just be a simple like, hey dude, congrats, that's awesome, from a total stranger. Even though I
Right.
saw you at IPRs, like it could be like, yo, this guy's actually like watching. Like I could be a fan. I could be the biggest fan. It's like it's those little details that I try to like support as much as I can, where
Yep.
it gives you hope to keep going. Because I might be watching, might be this other person might be watching, but like it lifts up your spirit because there are people watching. There could be one day thousands of the same people like me that are watching, and then it'll give you a purpose. Now you're actually living your life with purpose. We're
Yep.
like, this is my purpose now.
Yeah, I had a conversation with my cousin like a couple hours ago, and he brought up, social media and like what I post and stuff, and he's like, man, I just gotta say, man, like I love the stuff that you post, man. Like I love engaging with your stuff, and like um just to see you doing what you do, man. It's really inspiring, man. Keep going. And like you said, like, I mean, yeah, like he's my cousin. I he's like a big brother to me, but at the same time, like I didn't realize that he really admired, the stuff that I'm saying and like putting out there and stuff
Mhm,
like that. So yeah, man, I mean, you never really know who you're influencing and what you're doing. So you have to really, you know, th- be conscious of what you're putting out there and the vibes that you're putting out there for sure.
mhm.
Yeah, that's very, very, very important, very wise things. So what are your plans for, I mean, like pandemic or not, 2021 through 2025? What do you hope to look like the next like 4 years?
Um, so what's coming up right now is I'm actually doing a Spartan race. I don't know if you heard of one. It's a half marathon obstacle course race in California. It's 11 miles to 25 obstacles.
Oh
So I'm
wow.
doing that. Yeah, I'm doing that soon in April. So I've been training for that. I was supposed to do
Wow.
it back in May, but they postponed it. Then I got my foot surgery in October, but like officially I have it on April 10th. So that's what I'm focusing on right now. It's something I always want to do is to get back in shape. I've always was energetic. I was always in sports, but I was never good at it. But I always liked the feeling of like working out. And
Yep.
this is actually gave me the motivation to actually. I've never done it. I'm not even good at running. Never done it, and that's one thing why I want to do it because I've never done it. So I'm being uncomfortable. Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yep.
So that's why I'm doing it. And it's like that adrenaline that I like exercising. So that's coming up soon. The next five years, I see myself like um already have like a business launched. I don't know how that looks like. It could be my film business. It could be something out there. Hopefully, hopefully have be making like I don't want to set a deadline on how much money I want to be
Right.
making, but hopefully around six figures by then. Like
Right.
the next 5 years, hopefully have like a good like long term relationship with my current girlfriend,
Yep.
where like we're both building something with each other, and hopefully like just be more connected with family, visit my family in Mexico and El Salvador, and reconnect. Basically, in the next 5 years, my goal is to reconnect my current family to the rest of the families. That's either Mexico, Salvador, California, Seattle, wherever that. My goal is to take care of my family right now before I start my own family.
That's amazing.
So I recently got a girlfriend, so like I see it, we're taking it slow. I see it as a long term thing. Only time will tell. But like I see it where like I just wanna first like have a business already figured out, and reconnect my family with their family.
That's
So
awesome.
that's it. That's my goal for the next 5 years. But what's coming up next is like me doing this race, um, helping my other buddy create his insurance business that we originally did, and just reconnect fam with fam before I start my fam. If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
That that's super awesome that you brought family up, man, because that's the first time. I mean, I pretty much asked that question to everybody, like what the what they have coming up and like what they see the future and stuff like that. And you're the first person that's brought up family and like taking care of family, man, and that's super important to me, man. And I think it's very underrated, man. I think family is so important and so I mean, and I know everybody's got a different family situations
Mhm.
and stuff like that, and different relationships with their family. But I really admire that. I really admire that that's important to you, man.
Yeah, and there's some families that I've even met. I've even met family in Mexico where like I just want to build that relationship.
Yeah,
Where
those.
like they exist.
Yep,
How can we not connect with them? They freaking exist in this world, and we don't know who they are. It's like that's what I'm trying to do in the next 5 years. Is like reconnect everybody and like and reconnect my parents to their family so they can like keep building that. So
that's
my focus is like building family and like that spirit again. I want my Christmas to be big.
that's
I
awesome, man.
want those memories.
I think family is super important and really finding out about your roots and stuff like that.
Hmm.
You know, It-
Creating that legacy too.
yeah,
If they know, be like, yo, you create that inspiration too. Like, dang, he made it. We relate to him. We probably have it in us. I'm like, you probably like. I have this thing called be the first.
hmm
Like for example, I was the first to message you. I was the first to go to IP. I was the first to graduate. That quote, like be the first, is kind of like that stepping stone. Like just be the first to do it. You
yep,
might fail, but be the first. And the other one I have is like slowly but surely,
yep,
like baby steps.
yep. Baby steps are super important, man. It's a what is it? It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yep.
Like, yeah. And the Gary Vee's always talking about that, man. That's yeah. It's wise words, man. So, man, it's been super amazing talking to you, man. And I think that you're a fantastic dude. I would love to work together on something in the near future. If we can figure out some way to collaborate. Um,
You're more
vi-
music, right? You're more music sound design, or
well, I mean, like I want to get back into doing video stuff too, and like different, motivational stuff like you're doing. So
okay.
if you can think of any sort of collaboration, man, I mean, like I said, like I'm in sketch comedy. Like I love acting. I love motivational stuff. Like you're saying, anything like that. So I mean, if you could think of any sort of way you want to collaborate or ways I can help you, if you need me to like promote your Monday stuff, I would love to do that as well. So yeah, just keep
Appreciate,
me
yeah.
keep me posted
I'll
on what
keep
you
you in
got
the
going
loop
on.
now. Yeah, I'll keep no,
Sweet.
I'll keep you in the loop.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate your time, man. I hope you have a fantastic night, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me, man.
Thank you
Keep
for
doing what
being
you're
here,
doing,
man.
man. Thank you.
You as well, man. Keep the Monday motivation stuff up.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Peace.